got from the class, right?
Right.
Okay, we'll wait a few minutes before you can get here. I just wanted to do this as a final checkout today, making sure there were any questions I could answer for people, and also talk about next semester what my plans are, and see if there are some of you that want to join me for a few hours next semester too. So we're getting on. Everything comes to an end, right? So this class, so we'll wait for a few minutes, and I think anyone have any more exams left? Is this it? Anyone have any more? Lizzie, you have some more?
Yeah, I have 3 tomorrow.
So is there something that you have to that you can get, you can make requests not to have 3, or is that not in practice, Lizzie?
I mean, I could have, but like it just honestly like would mess up
I
like, the
know it's not
schedule,
even
and
worth
it's
it.
yeah.
You know, Lizzie, that was one of the reasons why I gave our second exam at that exam time, and not today at 2, because then there's the issue, you know, with so many students. I need to change this, and it becomes more of a hassle than it's worth, you know. So I figured, let me try it this way. What do you think about having that second exam a couple of weeks ago rather than today? What's your impression of that,
I
Lizzie?
thought it was good timing.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was kind of like a break for it, and then you could kind of concentrate on your project for the rest of the semester. Earlier on, I used to do you know, I made it a final, more chapters, and then at the end. But then it was always issues, you know, from students to sometimes parents made plane reservations, so many other things, you know, since we do in class, that I think that I will continue with that for next semester. You know, that way it just you finish, and then you just are wrapping up. So we'll do another minute or so, and I'll just talk about what I'm going to be doing next semester. So I welcome you all for our final time together on Zoom. Hopefully you learned something in this class. And I was telling Mohammed, one of the things we needed to know is need to know, right, Mohammed? So that's basically on security. That was one of the major key points in security, is that how do we keep organization secure with data, is that we should give permission to everyone for their need to know in their role. So you're in the role of the students, should have access to what? To your own grades. You should have access to be able to get in touch with me, the instructor. And when I'm recording my classes, what I try to keep in mind is anytime we have any personal information that at the end of this session as well, I'll go over people's grades or assignments, anything personal. We won't be doing recordings. But when is it nice to have recordings in a hybrid approach is where people need to check back and forth. And even, you know, this is Dylan, what would be interesting too is next semester, even when we have everybody with all their cameras on, to take a screenshot of that as well, and also having a recording, because a lot of times in attendance, people are saying, oh, I was in class, I wasn't in class, and then it becomes the update. So then we get a record also of who attended the class. Of course, we have some issues, of course, of Wi-Fi issues that sometimes we're trying to get in, and it happened to me as well. You remember, sometimes you lose connection. So that this as well. So I want to thank everybody for participating and sharing your time with me. I know your time is valuable as well. Let me tell you about next semester first, and then I'll just do an overview of making sure everybody has what we need for the class. Next semester, I'm going to continue with my research in generative AI. I'm going to continue working with a number of well-established companies like Google and Microsoft. And I'm also going to be working with a number of younger companies and new companies in the realm of generative AI. Companies, as if we were talking about before, the personal AI that we met the CEO and their development officer. As a matter of fact, I need to speak with them. Probably I'll reach out to them next week and see what we'll do for next semester. They already, and you can think about it, are going public. So you can think about these young companies, that area of generative AI, and it is a burgeoning industry, and it is changing quickly, and everybody wants to jump out of on the bandwagon. Not everyone will succeed, but there will be a number of changes. So next semester, I'm going to be teaching Mondays and Wednesdays, starting at our traditional hour of GH, which is from 3:35, and I'm going to be doing back-to-back all the way till a 6:30 class. Dylan will be joining me next semester, has agreed to join me next semester, and Spencer is seeing if her schedule is. If anyone else wants to be in a helper mode or a training mode, or get involved with any of my research projects and getting in touch with any of the companies, after you all have my email, reach out to me and we can see if that will work. Sometimes even if it doesn't work all those hours from 3:30 to 6:30 on Monday, Wednesday, it may be areas, since we can work remotely, we can do some projects where you can be a part of it, and we can do that in a hybrid fashion. So I wanted to send that out to all of you if you are interested in working, especially in this area. And I think I've even spoken to the dean of the School of Business. I really think they need to incorporate this generative AI throughout the business curriculum, not just in business tech or in data analytics, but it should be, everyone should be able, whatever major they have, be able to co-pilot and see and evaluate the trust and the ethics of these programs, plus how it can be used successfully. So if you're interested, please reach out to me as well. Okay. If you have personal questions, anything about your grades, your uploads, I've gotten a lot of concerns about the grades, the curves. I'm going to be out the rest of this week, and I'll be looking at the grades next week. And my curve I do at the end. So I do the curve at the end. Some of you were asking about the second test. The second test will be the 60-40 split like we did before, of 60% the multiple choice, 40% the open-ended, but the curve I do at the end. And some of you were anxious, I know, about your grade, so I'm letting you know that I won't be looking at it till next week. Okay, the other thing I just want to make sure that everybody has, let me just share my screen. I can share my screen. We're doing our last YouTube. It's working out. And you should have already done your peer review. That should have been submitted. That's a requirement to do the peer review. I suggest sometimes many of you are overly generous to yourselves and your teammates on how well they do. I'm suspicious when I see that everybody is just the highest grade and there's no comments for improvement. We're just the best in the world. So that just doesn't happen, unfortunately, but it's here. So let me just go to the groups just to make sure, under the project groups, just to make sure. I'm going to just take group 1. I've looked at theirs already. And the only thing that I would suggest, and you can even just do it here, is they've done their presentation slides, their AI website link, and their Zoom recording. And this is excellent, the list of improvements since the last time I saw you. If you've not done any improvements since the last time I've seen you, then under list of improvements, you can put none. The other thing, if you don't mind, and you can do this now on the final group presentation right here, if you can put the names, first names and last names of everybody that participated in your Zoom recording. As we said before, this Zoom recording needed to be password unprotected, of course, but there were a couple of people that didn't make their Zoom recordings and they made theirs individually, or they just didn't show up. So if you could do that now, each group, just put in under the items, right? If I went to edit, then it makes it just easier for me in terms of looking at it, is right before this final group of presentation is to put in the names of everyone that was in the recording. Okay. And then just so you know how I'll be looking at it again in terms of this Zoom, your website is, I'll check to make sure that all the links work properly. So if I go into X, formerly Twitter, that we can see that I can see all the links, that all the links work properly, and that it's done. So you should be outside of yourself, have each of you check to make sure that all of your links are working along with it. So I'll be checking all of the links, looking at, I've made comments already here on the upcoming events that we'll do. The other part, of course, with that in the list of improvement is your presentation slides. And in your presentation slides, if I were to look at the presentation slide, that they would be all included. In this case, they put them as PDFs, which is fine. So they've gone through all the PDFs. There's the social media, should have been the SEO, right? We talked about it, and then they did the group members' contributions. Thank you for watching. Excellent in terms of turning everything in. So that's the only thing I would suggest for each of your groups, is just put in that last touch up of everybody that attended your group session.
So I just added those
Perfect.
Are we good? Our group's great.
Yeah, so it's so let me just do this. So in terms of here in your group, why don't I see it? Here we go. Oh, project. Where is it? Where?
What are you trying to find?
Did you, everybody that was, okay, participants. Okay, I see it down below. Perfect. Okay, so that's what I needed to just go for. And anyone that needs to stay with me afterwards, I welcome you to do that. Otherwise, I wish you a happy holidays, safe, happy new year, And I hope to hear from you. Feel free to reach out to me anytime if you have questions on future activities that you do. Your grades will be available to you when I finish with those. I guess that'll be next Wednesday, I think. I don't know when you see them. Do you see them next? When is Kane Link in this case? Seeing those, Lizzie, is that next Wednesday? I think next Wednesday. I think I have till next Wednesday to submit them. So I guess maybe you see them the following Thursday. Is that correct? Something like that. So you'll be able to see them. So I have some issues that I need to address this week. So I'll be looking at the grade, starting to look at the grades only next week. Okay, so if I'm not responding to you this week, which I tried as much as possible to respond as quickly as possible to you, it will be delayed this week. Okay, anything else that I need to do? Any comments, suggestions? Feel free also, if you don't want to unmic yourself now, you can do it at the, you can send me anything that you'd like. Okay. And Dylan and Spencer will get together later on to set up what we want to do for next semester. Even we want to do some planning even before next semester on some of the AI, generative AI products that we want to explore as
Sounds
well.
good.
It'd be interesting to see. And I'm sure even the present ones, they're going to be changing. It's really month by month, right? You remember the whole idea with Altman, and he left the company, he didn't leave the company, came back. I mean, who can go so quickly? Personal AI, it looked like they just began that, right? All of a sudden they're telling me they're going public. How quick is that, you know? So what my goal is to you is you can also do that. You know, that it's not so far away. You know, once we work together in a group, it wouldn't, that you'll be even basically on the ground floor where you're going to a number of companies. They're just so afraid and knowing it, and it'll be in every field. You know, there won't be anyone that won't be, it'll be incorporated in so many. And I'm trying to get the University of Miami. They're also a little bit fearful what they're going to be, what's going to be available for students. That I'm trying to encourage them to start opening up more and allowing students to get more tools rather than less tools. Shouldn't be afraid of it, but just to be conscious of it and then be critical of it. But to be afraid and put our heads in the sand is not going to help us. Okay, so thank you very much. I appreciate you coming out. And I look forward to speaking with you. If you want to stay with me, I'm going to stop the recording now. And I'll see you all hopefully at some time. So let me stop.